Birmingham, 1919. A city still bleeding from war. But in the shadows, a new kind of violence is rising. A man returns from the battlefield, not healed, but hardened beyond repair. What begins as a small street gang soon becomes an unstoppable empire. And at the center of it all is one name: Thomas Shelby. The beginning of power. The story of Peaky Blinders begins in post-World War Birmingham, where society is broken and survival is everything. Streets are ruled not by law, but by fear and opportunity. At the center stands Thomas Shelby, a war hero who returned from France completely changed. He is intelligent, calculated, and emotionally detached. Unlike others, Tommy doesn't dream of survival. He dreams of control. He leads the Shelby family gang, including Arthur, John, Finn, and their powerful Aunt Polly. Together, they control illegal betting, protection rackets, and street power. But Tommy is not satisfied with small-time crime. He wants an empire. Everything changes when Tommy discovers a hidden stash of stolen military guns. These weapons are powerful enough to shift the balance of power in Birmingham. But there is a problem. The British government notices. The First War: Politics versus Crime. Winston Churchill orders Inspector Campbell to retrieve the stolen weapons at any cost. To infiltrate the Shelby family, Campbell sends undercover agent Grace Burgess. Her mission is simple: get close to Tommy Shelby and expose him. But something unexpected happens. As Grace gets closer to Tommy, she sees a man who is not just a gangster but a deeply broken soul shaped by war. And Tommy, for the first time, feels something real: love. But in Tommy Shelby's world, love is dangerous. Because love makes you weak. Love, betrayal, A&D power games. Grace is torn between duty and emotion. She eventually betrays Campbell by giving him false information to protect Tommy. But Campbell also has feelings for her and refuses to let go. This creates a deadly triangle of manipulation and emotion. Meanwhile, Tommy expands his influence into horse racing, illegally fixing races. This brings him into conflict with Billy Kimber, a powerful gang leader controlling the tracks. This is no longer street crime. This is organized war. Tommy uses intelligence, alliances, and manipulation to weaken Kimber's empire. He also arranges strategic marriages within his family, forcing John Shelby to marry Esme from the Lee family to secure a powerful alliance. Every move is calculated like chess. Finally, Tommy confronts Billy Kimber directly, and with cold precision, he kills him. The Peaky Blinders now control Birmingham. Love turns to loss. Grace returns to Tommy's life, but trust is unstable. Despite everything, they fall deeply in love. Grace becomes pregnant, and Tommy finally starts to believe he might have a future beyond violence. But peace never lasts. Because in Tommy Shelby's world, happiness always comes with a price. A revenge attack intended for Tommy kills Grace instead. And this moment changes everything. Tommy Shelby doesn't just lose a lover, he loses the last piece of his humanity. What follows is pure destruction. Tommy hunts down those responsible and eliminates them without hesitation. But even revenge cannot fill the emptiness inside him. Expansion A&D darker alliances. 2 years later, Tommy expands into London, facing Italian gangster Darby Sabini. To survive, he forms alliances with dangerous figures like Alfie Solomons. But here's the truth. Tommy doesn't trust Alfie. He just understands him. At the same time, Arthur Shelby struggles with PTSD, falling into addiction and violent behavior. The Shelby family begins to fracture internally. Polly's long-lost son Michael returns and becomes part of the business, adding tension within the family structure. Lizzie becomes Tommy's secretary, and emotional complications continue to grow. Then, Grace reappears. Married to another man but still connected to Tommy. Their affair reignites old feelings, but also old dangers. And once again, Grace becomes pregnant. The rise of political power. Tommy begins working with political figures, including Winston Churchill, balancing crime with government influence. He expands operations, builds alliances with Russian revolutionaries, and orchestrates massive heists. But betrayal follows him everywhere. Even his closest allies begin turning against him. Even Alfie Solomons betrays him again and again. Because in Tommy Shelby's world, loyalty is temporary. The family breaks. Tommy pushes his empire further, but the Shelby family begins to fracture. Michael grows ambitious and starts plotting against Tommy. Arthur becomes unstable. Polly becomes emotionally distant, sensing doom ahead. And Tommy keeps moving forward anyway, because stopping is not an option. The fall begins. A powerful Italian mafia led by Luca Changretta arrives to destroy the Shelbys. John Shelby is killed. The family is shaken. For the first time, Tommy realizes he is not in control anymore. A full-scale war erupts between the Shelbys and the mafia. Tommy uses strategy, deception, and sacrifice to turn the tide. In the final confrontation, Luca is trapped and eliminated. Arthur returns, proving that even death cannot stop the Shelby family. But victory feels empty. Power in a new form. Tommy shifts from gangster to politician. He becomes a member of parliament. A criminal wearing a suit of legitimacy. But underneath, nothing has changed. He still manipulates, still destroys, still controls everything. Now, he just does it legally. The final enemy. Mosley. Tommy's biggest challenge arrives in the form of Oswald Mosley, a rising fascist leader. Tommy infiltrates Mosley's movement with one goal: destroy it from within. But this plan begins to collapse. A planned assassination fails. Key allies are killed. Trust inside the Shelby circle completely breaks. This is Tommy's lowest point. Loss, prophecy, and revenge. Polly is killed by enemies tied to the IRA. Michael fully turns against Tommy. The Shelby family is now divided into factions. Years pass. Tommy becomes isolated. Then tragedy strikes again. His daughter Ruby dies. At the same time, Tommy is diagnosed with a terminal illness. Everything collapses. The final twist: Tommy prepares for death while finalizing his last plans. He eliminates Michael, fulfilling Polly's prophecy. But then, he discovers the truth. His illness was a lie, a manipulation designed to break him psychologically. For revenge. The end of Tommy Shelby. Instead of reacting with violence, Tommy does something unexpected. He walks away. He burns his past, leaves his empire behind, and abandons the life of crime forever. No more power, no more war, no more Peaky Blinders. Just silence. And that is the rise and fall of Thomas Shelby. A man who built an empire from nothing, lost everything he loved, and survived battles no one else could. But in the end, the real enemy was never his rivals. It was the world inside his own mind. If you enjoyed this full movie breakdown and explanation, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep movie recap. And don't forget to watch more movie recaps and explanations with us for more stories like this. See you in the next one.